Okay, so this is my first January 2024 checking for this year, for my yarn no-buy year, or my global no-buy about anything knitting and crafting, because I've been going overboard, including at the end of last year, 2023. And this is the checking of what I've bought during January. And yeah, I bought yarn and I ordered yarn online, but it's not for me, it's for my sons. So I have this excuse, and I did not have any that would allow me to make what they were asking. And also my goals for this year, in order to take into account what I have learned for the last 2 years of this project and where I want to be going this year. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet, where I talk about mostly my knitting experiences and adventures and projects and everything, and sometimes some other project I do with sewing. So today it's going to be a video about what I've called my Yarn No Buy Year project. It's been 2 years I've been undergoing this project with some kind of regulations. Maybe these are not rules or very strict regulations, more like guidelines. So I will link down below the 2 videos playlist on YouTube where I have filmed about every month my experience and my spending, and I've been documenting this journey. And most of it's because to make me accountable. If I talk about it, I can't hide myself and say, okay, this month is okay, I can do this, I can do that. I am accountable because I've been talking about it and I want to be talking about it. So it's a way for me to make or place words on all of these things that are going inside of me and that led me to overbuy and overspend. So this is the first checking of the year 2024. I will talk about what I have bought this month, and I have said just before, I bought yarn for my sons. Some of it I have received it and I will show it to you. Some of it it's still coming in the mail, and I will tell you how much I've spent this month. And I always include shipping whenever. Last year I did not order anything but 1 skein of yarn to complete a project, to finish a project. And I always include shipping whenever I order online. So I will tell you what I've ordered and how much I have spent this month. And most of all, I want to be talking about what I've learned for the last 2 years, where I want to be going this year, because I relapsed at the end of the year. I will also link the video down below. I overspent at the end of last year, and I got loose, and I was thinking, I've spent that much, so what are 20-40 euros above of that? Nothing. So let's do it and let's go for it. And all hell got loose. So I need to be thinking about that, and you've been helping me. This is also why I do these videos, because you've been helping me by commenting down below and sharing your own experiences, your own ideas, saying that maybe I'm also helping you place in the front of your mind what you are doing. And at least when I film these videos, it helps me place in front of my mind what I've been doing, and not keeping it in the back, in the comfort of the back of my mind. And you slide left, you slide right, and you forget this kind of slidings. You put it in the back of your mind and you forget about it completely. And talking about it puts words on these kind of behaviors and feelings, and at least it helps me going through this journey. So if it's of some interest to you, please stay tuned. Well, first things First, what am I wearing? You've seen me wearing this jacket sometimes. It's a very old one. It's pre my discovery of Ravelry. Onyx is on the table. It's pre my discovery of Ravelry and online knitting and everything. And it is yarn that I've got in the Pyrénées from that mill that is not working any longer. The daughter of the owner of the mill still has like a small yarn shop with yarn from different places, and she can have you have a tour of the mill, but that's all. It's very rustic wool. It's in that kind of gray shade, and I whipped up this jacket without any pattern. I think my mother needs the sleeves and I need the rest. It was kind of a team up between the two of us with that yarn. And I'm wearing a little caul, of course, under. As you can see, I have my my little sherbet bandana that I wear about every day. I have a little caul that I also made without any pattern. I used the Mystical Path pattern from the beanie and the mittens that Merit Butzberger designed with trellis yarns, and all these yarns are from mystery boxes, from leftover from mystery boxes from trellis, and some Christmas or birthday mystery boxes, and I mixed and matched all of the merino and mohair to make that little caul and finish up everything I had. So I wanted to have no leftovers from these yarns. I've used it all, and I have a very warm caul I can be wearing whenever the weather is very cold as it is right now. And I'm pre-filming, so maybe the day the video goes up, it's gonna be a different weather. Sorry about that. Okay, my no-buy project. I called it my yarn no-buy year in 2022 when I first started it, and I kept the name on 2023. I may just keep the name during 2024. We'll see. So my yarn no-buy year, this project was, I first set it up because I went overboard at the end of 2021. I think, to make it short, I was very influenced by what I was seeing online on Instagram and other videos, and people filming videos and showing pictures of themselves in houses where it was like a yarn shop, a full wall of yarn behind themselves. And it was, seeing that was making me feeling it was normal to have a huge stash and display it on your background. As you can see, I'm in my main room kitchen, and this is not what I want to be showing. First, because I fell into that kind of hole where it was normal for me to be buying yarn and buying yarn and buying yarn, and to be thinking, if I don't buy it now, it may disappear. And I was thinking, oh, there is a sale. Let's take advantage of it. To make it short, for these 2 years, because last year I almost did not buy any yarn online, just once, but let's just say it was normal. It was to finish a project. All this yarn I bought at the end of 2021, a lot of it is still in my drawers. I haven't got to knitting it. And I do have patterns associated with this yarn. It's not like I don't know what to do with it. I do. But I did not knit it. So that's one point. And why did not I knit it? Two things. The new and the new and the new and new ideas and new things come up. On this online world where we are bombarded with new patterns, new releases, new yarn, new ideas, and new and new and new. And if you want to be on top of it, maybe you need to have your knitting be your first your first job, your full-time job, because there is not enough hours, at least for me, during one day, to be knitting everything I want to be knitting. And the second thing is yarn comes my way, whether I buy it myself or not. I do allow myself to buy yarn in person, but I do not allow myself to buy yarn online, unless it is for a good reason and finishing a project. And it would be very stupid for me to wait for 3, 4, 5 years before I have knit everything I have in my own drawers and in my own stash and to buy yarn. So to finish a project, I allow myself to buy yarn, but I only buy in person. And so yarn comes my way. I buy during the summertime. People have sent yarn to me and I've sent yarn to them. And as in my stash, my own yarn has patterns and ideas associated with it. I do buy yarn to send to other people. Call me stupid, you can. But this is because I know what I want to be doing with this yarn I have in my stash that I bought. And I want to be getting to it. And if there is some leftovers, sure, I can share it with any of you. But for now, I cannot part with my own stash because everything I bought was with a pattern in mind. So that's one thing. So during the first year, what I did is not buy online any yarn. I could do it. It was not very difficult. I went to buy mohair in the Pyrénées and my beloved Pyrénées and the 2 farms I visit, and so that's fine. I went in Cotentin to get yarn from Lenal West. I made a trip one day in the summertime. It was beautiful. I'm very happy with what I bought there, and these 2 1-kilogram skeins have allowed me to make beautiful projects. The Barbara, the Yamsworth, etc., the Highland Turtle sweater, etc. So I'm very, very happy. I went last year. I discovered Atelier Paulin in the south of Normandy. I did a couple trips over there. I bought beautiful cashmere and yak and everything. Yeah, that's okay. I bought quite a bit of yarn, quite a lot of yarn in person. Some people sent to me, my sons gifted me with yarn for my birthday or Christmas or things like that. So what the first year has taught me was yarn comes my way, even when I don't buy any yarn online. So I don't feel that kind of restriction, and I'm not missing much because I know it will come my way. So what I did the first year was go overboard with online patterns. I think, I do not recall, I will have to check. I think I spent about 200 and 250 euros on online patterns. Yeah, this is on sale. Oh, this designer has a birthday. I want to support them. And online pattern can disappear. Yes, online pattern can disappear. But even if a pattern you like a lot disappears, there is a way, maybe someone still has it and you can buy it from them. There is a way another pattern, very similar, will be released and you can knit the same piece you are missing out because the original pattern is not there any longer. And also, what did that first year taught me is that I still have all these online patterns in my library and I've knit very little of them, maybe a couple of them. So what's the point? It's taking space on my computer, on my Ravelry library. It's making the ice melt in the poles. So I decided I would buy for 2023 online patterns if I don't have them and I want to knit them, only if I'm there right now, only if I am ready to cast them on. So last year, that was not difficult for me not to buy any online patterns. I bought one, the Calara shawl pattern by Amber O'Brien, that one of you recommended me to knit with these two skeins I had bought with my mother when we were at a fair close where she lives. And it was not difficult not to buy any online patterns and decide, okay, I'm ready to cast on, I buy them on the spot. At the end of 2023, I think I was doing fine. And I went overboard, like a relapse. And some of you have said, if I restrict myself too much, these relapse can happen because at some point you put your finger into your bad habit, whatever it is, and then you do it a little bit and a little bit, and as I can say, you slide left, you slide right, and at some point you say, I've already spent that much, whatever it is. And okay, hell gets loose and you spend a very big amount. Of course, I had a good excuse. I can always have an excuse and word out an excuse. Pom Pom magazine is closing down, and there won't be any more magazines. So I stocked up on printed magazines that I've seen in their newsletter. The magazines are all sold out now. There are many little printed copies left. And the last issue, all future printed copies are sold out, are pre-ordered. And now the last issue, you can only have digital copies. So am I happy I bought all of these when I could buy the printed copies? Yes, I am happy. But if you back up a little bit, or if I back up a little bit and think about it, what's the difference between buying the printed copy, Onyx is on the table, the printed copy and buying a digital copy that is still going to be available? And if I want to print the pattern, I print just one pattern and I need that one pattern I want to make. I don't think that would have made a big difference. And I also think that Pom Pom would say whenever they would close their online shop. For now, they haven't said any of that. They said for the foreseeable future, they're gonna remain keeping online copies to be sold. So there's that. I could have done without buying the printed copies, but on the spot, I did not think at all. It was add to cart, buy. And once I was doing this, just a few hours or days later, I discovered one that Pom Pom had books that I wanted to buy in the past. They were on my list. So I ordered them, so second order. And then the top of the top and the cherry on the top of the cream of the with the cake under. Land Magazine was having a sale, and I ordered a book that was not necessarily on my list, but I had been eyeing, and so I've talked about that. I will link the video down below. That was too much. That was a lot. And when I filmed my December 2023 checking, I realized I had been relapsing and going into my bad habits. Bad habits, I'm not sure I can say that. Into my habits that I do not like, that I would buy and buy and buy, maybe to fill some kind of void that cannot be filled with things, material things. And I have this tendency to accumulate. And I've already experienced that with other areas of my life where I would accumulate. And once I realize I accumulate, I kind of think about what do I like and what do I need with that. It's clothes, makeup, kitchen appliances and pots and pans and stuff like that. What do I need? What is my vision of my kitchen, of my makeup bag, or my drawers and my clothing? What do I want? So I go through what I have and I say, okay, this do I wear, this do I use, and I need that. There is nothing of that. And I allow myself to go down my list of things I want, and once I have them, I feel satisfied and it goes out of my mind. With yarn and crafts, there is always the new and new, and Onyx is on the table once again. There is always this new and new, and always new things you want. Kitchen, once you have all your pots and pans that you want, and there is no more spaces in your drawers to be storing them, and you use them to cook, it's fine. But yarn and patterns and ideas and fashion, everything is on a constant roll, a ball rolling. And every time you feel that you have whatever yarn or patterns that I want to be making, and maybe I need 5 years to be knitting everything I have in my mind for now, there is always the new thing and the new thing and the new thing, and it revives this feeling of I want, and I want it. So I need to work on that a little bit more. One of you suggested that for next year, regarding to that project, maybe I should allow myself 3 sweaters quantities. That's a good idea. That's an idea I'm going to go with. I will experiment with it. I will allow myself to buy 3 sweaters quantities next year. And that's all, because I have multiple sweaters quantities for now in my own stash with projects attached, patterns in mind with that yarn. And that will allow me to go and knit that beautiful yarn I have and I have bought. And I'm not getting to it because it's always the new thing and the next one and the new one and the other next one that rolls over. And all of these projects are just waiting for my time, my attention, and me to cast them on. So, new guideline for myself regarding yarn, I will only buy 3 sweaters quantities, unless it's for other people, of course. And in the next segment, I will talk about the yarn I have bought for my children, for my sons, or if I want to buy yarn for other people. That's a different thing. But for myself, 3 sweaters quantities. Fine. We'll see how it goes. For patterns and books, patterns, online digital patterns, last year was not difficult for me to buy only one pattern when I was ready to cast it on and cast on and use it. So I think I'm going to continue with that kind of regulation or idea. Books is the question right now. There is no such things as too many books. That's what I believe. Books are so important. People have died, of course not for knitting books, but people have died for books and ideas and things like that. So there is not such thing as too many books. I do read a lot of books. I do read all of my knitting books, and I go through them for ideas and things like that, and I read them, even the stitch dictionaries, even the pattern dictionaries, the stranded color work dictionaries, and any of my other books. Even if I don't knit a lot of them, I do read them all of the time. So I'm not quite sure what I will do with books. Maybe, as I allow myself 3 sweaters quantities, maybe I could allow myself with 5 books. That could be an upper limit that is far away, that I cannot reach, because my children have offered me knitting books, and some of you have offered me knitting books. So books also come my way. I need to know that. So To summarize, not buying any online pattern unless I'm ready to cast them on. So I ignore all of the sales and all of the idea of I'm supporting that designer because I think I have most probably 20 patterns from designers that are beautiful, beautiful. Sari Nordland, Moonstruck Knit, in term style, many beautiful patterns from beautiful designers that I am not knitting, so I need to get to them before they go out of fashion. So it's not very difficult. 3 sweaters quantities in person, not online buying, in person, and 5 books. If I can manage to be doing this in 2024, I will call it a successful year. And I have to work on my urges to buy, because if I can have this buying habit within boundaries and guidelines where I'm comfortable, I'm afraid my buying habits are going to slide, or my eating habits are going to be going to other areas of my life, and I will start again to accumulate. So I think the bottom line of that is accumulation. For me, fear of missing. Why am I so afraid of missing? Because, you know, when La Bien-Aimé's Cory Confetti came out, this Cory yarn, I think it's DK or worsted, in that area, with all of her bits, leftover bits from her own dyeing studio that were incorporated in the Cory line. There was the gray line. There were at least maybe 3 releases of the gray one, the dark blue one, the Winterfell, so it's gray bow, if I recall correctly. The Winterfell was stunning, and I did not buy the Cory Confetti. I was very sad at the moment. I did not buy the Winterfell. It's out. And La Bien-Aimée said that she is going to be stopping this Cory Confetti line. She will come up with another line and another way to recycle of her own leftovers from her dyeing studio, so fine. So am I missing out now? I kind of miss a Winterfell a little bit. But other than that, no, because what did I like? I liked the idea of recycling the yarn. I liked the Tweedy version of the line, and I liked it on the gray base and on the dark blue base. If you look online, and I did that already, you can find many Tweedy yarns with multicolored Tweedy pops onto a uniform base or some kind of other base. And I can find beautiful dark blue or gray Tweedy yarns with pops of colors. So even if La Bien-Aimée is not offering Cory Confetti any longer, this is the idea I like. I have it in the back of my mind, and maybe one day I will get to buying some of it once I have knit everything. So it's on my list of things I want, and some of my new kryptonite yarn I want. And when I talked about my kryptonite, someone said, okay, I want to share some of my knitted stash with you because it's one of your kryptonite, and I have so much that I want to be sharing what are my own leftovers for my own project. And Caroline from Germany sent me beautiful, beautiful knitted yarn that I've been using and I'm knitting right now. And one of you sent me some Manchego piece when she was visiting Spain, when you were visiting Spain. And I said, oh, go to Wool Dreamers and look at the Manchego piece yarn. And she said, okay, I'm going to get for you because I don't have any more space for myself. This was not what I was asking for, but you did it, and I'm so very happy. I have it with me, and I want to be getting to knitting it next. So Even my yarn kryptonite comes my way. That's what I've learned. And I need, even if one line of yarn has not come my way, I haven't bought, and the yarn is discontinued, it's stopped, I can find the same one somewhere, something similar looking. And if I like a gray or a dark blue base with 2D pops of multicolored yarn from a recycled process, I'm sure and I know I can find some in Europe to order and get. So if my no-buy year is successful in 2024, what I had said last month is that I had no reward in mind for myself. The first year, I got a Swift and a ball winder, all in wood, that I love and I use a lot, and I really enjoy them. Good. That was something that was driving me to be successful in my no-buy year. Last year, 2023, I got a Chiagu interchangeable needle set. I love it. And same, in January, I already had in mind what I wanted to buy to reward myself if my no-buy was successful. Last year, in December, and even right now, I'm not sure I want anything to reward myself with if my no-buy is successful, because there is no real need right now or things that I'm missing. So I sort of artificially placed into the list, Onyx is on the table again, a small needle set, interchangeable needle set, to be knitting small circumferences. And maybe if I need socks for my sons, because they have asked for socks, I will be enjoying having either a small circumference needle set, exchangeable needle set, or a whole set of five DPNs from Chiagu, the nice ones, or maybe the square ones that are not from Chiagu. I do not recall, but Frédéric is knitting with them and she really loves them. So maybe that. And as I was talking to you, maybe I could reward myself with a sweater quantity of tweedy yarn with pops of colors in the tweeds, and either on a gray or dark blue base. Maybe I could do that. But right now, as I'm filming this, I have no desire to be rewarding myself with if my yarn no-buy year or my no-buy year is successful. I just want it to be successful. I want to be able to cruise along that year without relapsing. That's the most important thing, I think. Without relapsing from my no-buy. And as some of you have said, if I'm too strict, this is what usually calls for relapses. So I think with 5 books, 3 sweaters quantities, there is room for me to be fulfilling my desire for yarn and books. We'll see how it goes. If it's too strict, maybe I will have to adjust along the way so that I'm more in line with this no-buy project and to have it for the rest of my life. That's the most important thing. I've set a 1-year boundary because, once again, it's comfortable to be within boundaries. But the real idea behind all that I had not said for the last 2 years and had not popped into my mind yet is, I would like it to be my normal way. Have maybe 1 sweater quantity and a couple shawls or a shawl ahead of me in my stash, maybe, and no more. That's what I would like. So, and I would like my life to be that way. So we'll see how it goes, and I will try to write all my regulations to make a blog post about it and write it down so that I can go back to it. One thing I haven't mentioned is that this project never was a question of money for myself. One of you asked for me, I'm not sure I recall if it was on Ravelry or on one of the social media private messages. I think it was on a private message on Ravelry. How much did I allow myself and did I go overboard with that? I did not set a money limit because when I got overboard the first year around, buying a lot of yarn, it was not a question of money. I never was in danger. I have a roof over my head, I have a full-time job, I have food into my plate, and I push my kids through the university or what some part of the world call college. So I pay for all of that, and I have a full-time job that is enough for me to have all of this plus my hobbies and stuff like that. So it was not a question of money, and I do understand that maybe for some of you it could be a question of money, and I perfectly understand it. And maybe what's 5 euros or 10 euros or 40 euros for me, which is not much, is 1 month or 1 week full of food for you. And I do understand that. But I did not have a money amount limit. I write it down and I take it into account so that I am aware of what I'm spending. Because the other thing is the same way with food. You eat and you forget. You buy and you forget. So if I have a spreadsheet where I write down all of my expenses, I can have an idea of what I've spent for a year and have a monthly average for that year. And what I have seen is that last year, 2023, I did spend more than in 2022 because of the last months where I bought a lot of books and magazines and stuff like that. So if I write down what I spend, it's another way to make me aware and accountable for what I'm doing. It's not to restrict myself in terms of money because I could spend that money. One of you have also said that I forgot to take into account the increases of prices, and I do agree with that. The yarn that I bought last year, and I bought some for you and I bought some for me, the prices were higher, and I totally forgot to take that into account. The prices of about everything have increased last year, and I did not take it into account. Okay, fine. We'll see what next year, how the global prices are going to be. And to me, knowing what I spent is to have the numbers in front of my eyes, rather than sort of knowing, and 1 month you do this, and 1 month you do that, and 6 months from now, you've forgotten all of it. So it's to make me accountable, to make myself accountable. And if I talk to you about it, it's also to make myself accountable. Okay, next, and to finish, I hope this video won't be too long. What did I buy this month, January 2024? Some of it I haven't received it yet as I'm filming because I said I'm pre-filming, and some of it I have. I bought 2 types of yarn. The first one I have it here is Fonty Polaire. Fonty Polaire is a very nice yarn. It's 100 meters for 50 grams. It's 20 stitches per 10 centimeters with 4.5 millimeter needles. And it's 50% alpaca and 50% wool. Very soft, very plump, very good stitch definition. In this blue that I knit a scarf for Theo, my second son. He's the one who graduated from his PhD in December. This blue colorway is number 649. And when I knit, I think it was in 2021. Yeah, for Christmas 2021, I knit for him and my eldest son 2 Silata scarves by Marie-Amélie Designs. So that's one of the examples of online patterns that can disappear because, or patterns that can disappear because the Silata scarves, and I will prop up pictures, is from a book that I have, an ensemble book from Marie-Amélie. And she stopped designing. She made all of the patterns for free. So if you go to Ravelry, and I will link it down below, it's the Silene, the closest one I found, the Silene scarf. So you can get this pattern for free if you like it. And I knit it in that blue for Theo, a baby blue. It looks gray to me here. Maybe that's the lighting, but it's a blue, a light blue yarn. And in gray for Samuel, my eldest son. I have used all of the gray because there was one ball less than the blue I could buy. And I have one ball left for the blue. Theo asked me for a hat that would go with the scarf. Okay, he never asks for anything. Fine, but one ball is not enough. It's 50 grams and 100 meters. It's not enough for a hat. And as it was 2 years ago that I bought, there was no way I could get the same batch in the same color, exactly the same color. So I decided I was going to buy 3 additional balls of Fonty Polaire in this blue colorway. So I ordered them, and of course I received them. And so I spent 36 euros and 20 cents on these 3 balls of yarn with shipping. So that's for Theo, and I allow myself to buy yarn for other people, especially my sons, if they ask for something, and in particular Theo, who never asks for anything. So that's the first thing I bought in January. The second thing I bought, all of them when they were home for Christmas, asked for socks. I'm not knitting socks, you know that. I do not have sock yarn because I'm not knitting socks. And they all asked for socks. So I measured their feet. And I said, okay, I'm going to be diving into the sock world. I've never been knitting socks. So I asked the group of knitters that Frédéric gathers every so often, and we have a WhatsApp conversation. And I said, okay, what's your favorite sock yarn? Because some of them are die-hard sock knitters. So they recommended Yavol yarn from Lang. So it's a superwash wool with 15% or 20% polyamide or nylon or some kind of fossil fuel processed product. So I bought the Yavol yarn from Lily Comtou, which is an online store in France. I did not want to buy further away from that. And I spent 64 euros and 90 cents. And I bought, I don't recall, I will prop up pictures. And if the yarn comes before this video goes live, I will take pictures and put them on the video. And if not, I will use the site pictures. I chose this store because they had ombre and long color fading colorways. So I bought a brownish one, I bought a purplish one, and I bought a blue-gray one. And I got funky neon colors for cuff, heels, and toes. Because they were saying, we want funny socks. So, okay, funny socks for them is either completely outrageously funky colorways and design and stranded knit colorways. And I don't want to be doing this for my first pair of socks, even though I've knit socks in the past with my grandmother, but I was a teenager and a kid, so that doesn't count. I do not recall, and she was you know, knitting it as she was going because she knew her own pattern. So I did not want to do anything like that. So a color changing yarn with funky heels, toes, and cuffs, I think that would be fine. So, okay, that's gonna be it for today. Another very long video. If you've been going through all the video and are still here, I thank you so very much. I do appreciate this time we take or I take to be talking to you, because it helps me settle down my ideas, and it does help me a lot talking with you in the comment section. And I do appreciate your comments, your suggestions, and things that I take from you into my life, whether there are ideas, whether there are yarn and stuff like that, books. So I do appreciate that a lot, and this is what also makes me going on and continue to be filming these videos, because it's a lot of time and a lot of time for editing. So sometimes I'm very short on time resources, so this is why I'm pre-filming this one, because I know what's upcoming in my next few weeks. So yes, I thank you very much for your presence, for your suggestion, for being so kind with me. And I do hope that all your crafting and knitting brings you much joy and happiness, and that you can place joy and happiness into your little stitches and into your projects. And that brightens your life, even though we are surrounded by very dark times, and what's happening is the world is not a happy place to be right now. So placing joy and light and happiness into our craft, I'm sure it does help everyone, including me, feeling more happy and getting used to have this happiness into my life. And I do hope you can manage to place joy and happiness into your life, and be assured that you bring me much joy and happiness. And I thank you a lot for being here with me. I thank you a lot for being part of this community. And this is Ramses on the Table. And yes, I hope I will see you next time.